The Qualia Experience is a Spotify podcast.
Hello, and welcome to the Quality Experience podcast. I am your host, Stan Ikuge. Our guest today is Dr. Simon Duan. Dr. Duan migrated from China to the United Kingdom to study in the 1980s and gained a PhD in material science from Cambridge University. Today, we will be covering the various topics ranging from the paranormal, the concept of higher self, parallel universe, and multiverse concepts. Consciousness, which is one of my favorite topics, religion, spirituality, the difference between both, and the effects of dogma. And finally, we will explore his developed hypothesis known as Platonic computation. Dr. Duan was once vice president of the Chinese Parapsychology Association. He has long been involved in research and development, technology, commercialization, and management consulting in the UK and China. He is also the founder and CEO of Metacomputics Labs, which researches a post-materialist paradigm unifying consciousness, mind, and matter. He currently resides in the United Kingdom and is an employee of the UK government. Without further ado, I bring you Dr. Simon Duan.
Thank you, Stanley. Thank you for having me. My name is Simon Duan. I came to the UK from China in 1980s as a student. And I finished my education with a PhD in material science from Cambridge University. So I was trained as a materialist scientist. And then I worked in industry for a number of years, doing research and development, technology consultancy. And so that's my professional life. In early 2000, I came across paranormal phenomena. As a scientist, I become very curious what I have seen. And so I kind of went into the paranormal research rabbit hole. So since then, I have been doing a lot of research in paranormal phenomena and try to explain paranormal phenomena. So that's the sort of reason I develop a new theory to account for those phenomena. So at the moment, I'm running a business as Metacomputics Labs, doing more research in theory, as well as in experimental research, as well as in consultancy. So really trying to develop a new paradigm. I call it post-materialist paradigm to explain everything, basically, the universe, the life, human being, everything. So that's what I'm doing.
That's really broad. That covers a lot. When you say materialist scientist, what does that mean?
Well, materialist scientists, really, we have a focus on material reality,
Is
So-
it physical?
physical reality. Yeah, so that's our focus. We focus on physical phenomena, and we try to observe the rules, the laws, and try to discover laws in the realm of material reality. And we use these rules to manipulate the physical reality and to develop new materials. In my case, I'm a material scientist, so we develop new materials by manipulating different elements. You have to make more materials which have enhanced properties. So we also develop new processing technology to improve the efficiency of making materials. And also we explore the application of those materials. So that's typically what the scientists, materialist scientists do. So we are not concerned with non-material reality. Yeah. With a focus on the material reality, we have our energy, sort of a focused energy, and we can achieve quite a lot, actually. So I have been very proud to be a materialist. uh, scientist, so we have achieved a lot. And material reality is only one part of the whole reality. As you know, the material and the physical phenomena is only a subset of the whole phenomena we experience as a human. Yeah, it's a subset. It's not everything we experience. Yeah. So in the last 400 years, really, the science has been focused on the material reality. I think now is the time we expand the horizon of science to include something beyond the material. Yeah, non-material reality, which we experience also. So that's my primary interest now. So go beyond the material, to go into non-material, non-physical reality.
Why the interest in the paranormal, and were there any personal experiences that propelled you into investigating the paranormal in the non-physical?
In early 2000, I was doing business in China. My wisdom tooth started to play up. It becomes very painful. And I went to see the conventional dentist. I was told I need a general anesthetic because it's quite complicated case. It's quite deep. And so he suggested I have a general anesthetic because it's not very small operation actually, bigger than I thought. Then a friend of mine told me, why don't you try this dentist? He's doing a fantastic job. So out of curiosity, I went to the place he recommended, went to the small dentistry. The wall has a full of photos of celebrities. It's quite famous celebrities, as well as the government officials, including the Communist Party Politburo. Yeah, so they all went this place to have their tooth taken out. I thought, oh, this is encouraging. And what he actually did is actually just he used a pair of tweezers to take my wisdom tooth out effortlessly. Yeah, I had some pain, I had some discomfort, but not very painful. Yeah, there wasn't any force involved. Then we went to lunch together. And during lunch, I asked him, what happened? What the hell did you do to me? He said, I have a incantation. Yeah, I don't know whether you know what is incantation. Incantation is like a spell.
I have an idea, but I would love you to, like, stick.
Yeah, it's a incantation. He said this incantation was passed in my family for many generations, and I use that to loosen my patient's tooth so I can take them out effortlessly. So he does it daily. I mean, it's a professional operation. And so this really triggered me. I never come across anything like this before. As a materialist, we always work on the law of physics. So everything obey the law of physics. And this obviously doesn't obey the law of physics. So this really sort of puzzled me and intrigued me. And since then, get involved in the paranormal research circle in China. And that's just eye-opener. I've come across all sorts of phenomena and all kind of different paranormal phenomena. And so I spend almost all my off-duty time actually to visit those weird people, and which has become very intriguing.
Can
So
you give,
that's how I started.
can you give me the one that most blew your mind? The most strangest phenomenon ever?
Well, I come across people who can actually teleport object, physical object, from one location to another location. Yeah. And one time we actually locked this guy uh, in a room, in a lab in Beijing, and we stripped him out completely. We even took his underwear away. and he managed to teleport some money into the room where he was. The banknotes. Yeah. So this is quite striking. And later on, we did a lot of experiment with him, and he can actually teleport the GPS tracker, air tag, for example. Yeah, and we can actually monitor where the tag is during the. It can be hundreds of miles away.
Were you physically investigating this while he was doing it? Were you
Yeah,
present?
that's right. Yeah, yeah, we can actually trace that on our sort of mobile devices, GPS tracker. And I come across people who can manifest Chinese herbal medicine in their hands. So that medicine is actually personal to the it's personalized herbal medicine, but it's from thin air. Some psychic they can actually make the medicine in their hands. Yeah. But there's other things which like telepathy. Yeah, it's like a mind-mind communication. Yeah, yeah, yeah. People can read your mind, and, and they can know everything about you, and all sorts of informational domain. And that's quite a lot. Yeah, but the material manipulation side is my primary interest. Of course, the metal bending. Yeah, metal bending. Uri Geller is very famous here in the West. But in China, a friend of mine, he became a friend of mine. He's a psychic. He can make he can bend 50 spoons in 1 minute. Yeah. So he actually win the Guinness record for metal bending, fastest metal bending per minute.
Yeah, I'm not really too. I mean, yes, it's shocking and it's unbelievable, but at the same time, I don't know if you've ever heard of the term quantum teleportation, where
Yeah, yeah,
would have been done
yeah.
now by scientists on, I think it was an island. I did watch the documentary where they were able to teleport a document, a paper, from one station to the other using quantum physics, quantum teleportation. It was really fascinating. So, what you're saying is not too far fetched. I just wanted to get that out the way before I ask this question, which might have those answers for me. Uh, what is Platonic computation? Can you go into a little bit of that in details?
Yeah, the sort of concept was created by me, but it's based on the simulation hypothesis.
Okay.
Simulation hypothesis isn't new. It's not my invention.
Yeah.
Yeah, simulation hypothesis is as old as, let me think. The first person who proposed the simulation hypothesis is a German computer scientist. Yeah, his name is Konrad Rossi. He proposed this in 1969 because he's a computer scientist. He thinks probably the universe is a processing output. Yeah. Uh, so in 1990s, there's another physicist called John Wheeler. He also support this idea, and he came up with a famous phrase called "it from bit." Yeah, everything physical is a fundamentally information. So it from bit. Mm. And recently, the philosopher from Oxford University, Nick Bostrom, and also he proposed the simulation argument. Yeah. He argues that we are almost definitely in the simulation. a computer simulation. Yeah. But so far, all those are speculations. Yeah. It's not really a theory yet. It's not really a hypothesis yet. Yeah. Because it's only a speculation. There's no details. Yeah. To my mind, if we want to develop a scientific theory, we need to answer a range of questions, key questions, basic questions. For example, if the universe is computer simulation, and then the question is, where is the computer? Where is it coming from? Yeah. What's it made of? Yeah. How is it made?
That would be a question that we wouldn't be able to answer if we're in the simulation.
Well, as a scientist, we work on hypotheses. Yeah. You need to come up with hypotheses to address those questions. And then you can progress this issue from a speculation into a hypothesis. That's how it works. So we work with hypotheses and we make predictions using the hypothesis. We test the hypothesis with small experiment, and if it's a fit, we can improve it. If it doesn't, we can modify the hypothesis. That's how we scientists works. Yeah. So the Platonic computation hypothesis, by the way, it is a hypothesis. It's not yet a theory. It's based on the assumption that the computer is actually in the Platonic realm. And it's not a physical computer. It's not in the physical reality. It's beyond the physical reality. It's a transcendental computer. It's in the Platonic realm. Yeah, that's why I call it a Platonic computer. So I don't know whether you're familiar with Plato. In Plato's theory, the physical reality is only a shadow or poor imitation of the entities in the realm of forms. Yeah. The realm of forms are more real, more fundamental. That's more fundamental reality. Whereas the physical reality is only a poor copy. It's a poor imitation. It's like a shadow. So the real thing, the real deal is actually not physical. It's a transcendental in the realm of forms. Yeah. It's like for example, in this world, we have apples. We have different apples. We have the red apple, green apple, sweet apple, sour apple, different size of apple. But in the realm of reality, in the realm of forms, we have appleness, which is abstract apple. But that apple is more real, more fundamental. Yeah. Similarly, we have different types of dogs, all kinds of shapes and sizes. Yeah, we have a poodles, we have Labradors, we have a pugs. But in the realm of forms, we have dogness, which is archetype dog, abstract dog, which is more fundamental, according to Plato, more real. So the physical dog is actually a poor copy. And so in his theory, everything physical has a corresponding archetype in the realm of forms. You have a Platonic dog, you have a physical dog, you have a physical apple, you have a Platonic apple. Yeah. So based on this principle, I propose that because we have a physical computer here made of silicon, we ought to have a Platonic computer, non-physical computer, which is more real. It's more powerful. It's more fundamental. So that is the computer which is responsible for rendering this physical reality. Whereas the physical computer made of silicon is only responsible for making the virtual reality. Yeah. So that's the concept that Platonic computation is basically, in parallel to the physical computer, there is a Platonic computer. With the physical computer, we can make virtual reality, whereas in a Platonic computer, we can render the physical reality. So basically, the physical reality, according to this hypothesis, is the processing output of the Platonic computer.
So in a Platonic computer, are, are we still there? Is the real us there? And this is just a copy of us in this physical form? How how does that work? Is there another me and you in the Platonic computer that is just, and this is a physical reality of us on here?
Yeah. In the development of the Platonic computation model, I also developed the cosmology model. Yeah. With this Platonic computer, you can sort of format the computer to operate at a different clock speed. You know that the computer operate on update according to the clock. The clock, every computer has a clock.
Yeah.
So does the Platonic computer. Yeah. So the clock in a Platonic computer can be configured to operate at a different clock speed. Yeah. Each clock speed renders different reality, different level reality. So it's a multi-level reality, multiverse. So each parallel universe in the multiverse is rendered by the Platonic computer operating at a specific clock speed. Yeah. This clock speed also corresponds to the refresh rate, update rate, and also correspond to the vibration frequency. Yeah. The update rate, the vibration frequency is correlated. And therefore, at each clock speed of the Platonic computer, we get rendered a universe with the specific vibration frequency. Yeah. So there's multiple levels universe rendered by the Platonic computer operating at a different clock speed. So therefore, it's like a different radio and TV station vibrating at a different clock speed. You have different vibration frequency. You have different parallel universes. So that's the cosmology model derived from this Platonic computation model. And each parallel universe has a set of rules and a set of laws and different beings. Yeah. We as a human, actually any beings, exist at all levels. Yeah. We actually exist at all levels of those parallel universes. Yeah. As a nested Russian dolls.
Kind of similar to the it's called the multiverse theory.
Yeah. Yeah. Multiverse have a different kind of models also. Yeah. One version of the multiverse is actually parallel with each other within one level. It's like a different game world. Yeah. In the virtual reality domain, we can create different games, different computer games, and each game is its own world, and each one it can be seen as a parallel. So that's like a horizontal parallel. In my case, I have a vertical parallel. Each universe is actually nested within another universe. So it's parallel universes. In my case, the clock speed is different. In the horizontal parallel universes, yeah, it's like a different game world. You still have the same clock within the one level of reality, like the virtual reality. And in my case, it's actually another level of reality, which has a different clock speed. And each level below is nested in the level above. It's like the virtual reality, it's like our computer game is nested in this physical reality, but it's a parallel to this reality. If you go into the game world, yeah, that's
Right.
that's another world, but it's nested within this world.
Okay.
Similarly, our physical reality is nested in the level above. So it's a nested parallel universe. And within this nested parallel universe, we as a being have a higher self at a higher level universe. Similarly, when we play a computer game, we play the avatar. The avatar becomes us in the game
So
world. Whereas ourself, the player, is actually relative to the avatar. We are avatar's higher self. So we exist at all levels. We exist as avatar when we play the avatar. We exist as a player. Similarly, above us, there's another player, which we can call our higher self. Yeah, which is another level of us. So that's our higher self. We have a higher self at all the level of the universe above this physical level.
then can we, is there a part in the phenomenon where we can communicate with our higher self?
It's not communicate. It's because the higher self is the player of the lower self. It's already there. Yeah, it's just that our consciousness not aware of that. Yeah, if you expand your consciousness and you become aware, you are actually the player, not this avatar. Yeah. So in that sense, the player become active. Then you are no longer NPC. In most times, for majority of people, actually we act as NPCs.
What do you mean by NPCs?
Sorry?
What do you mean by NPCs?
NPC means is a non-playable character.
Okay,
Means
the
that
default mode.
yeah, default mode. Yeah, you're programmed to react in certain way. Yeah,
This-
according to situation.
Okay, yeah.
You don't really make decisions. You react.
Yeah.
Yeah. If the situation comes, you program to react in certain way. Yeah. If people sort of slap you and you slap him back, automatically, you don't really make a decision. You just react. So we call this non-playable.
Is that
Because
also what people mean when they say the matrix being in a default mode?
yeah, yeah. So when you're trapped in the matrix, you actually operate as NPC. You don't have freedom to make decisions,
You don't know you don't have freedom. That's the
and
fun.
you don't know. You think you actually quite happily sort of live your life, but actually you are programmed to behave certainly. You're programmed to think certainly. You're programmed to live the life, to seek happiness, to avoid the pain, benefit, to avoid the risks. It's like the game. It's like the Mario, yeah, Super Mario. You try to grab the reward and try to avoid the risks, and that's the game we play. Yeah. So we don't have to actually involve the player. But if you are involved the player, that means your higher self become active. Then you become free. Yeah, it's like you become awakened. If you are become awakened, you can make better decisions. You can play the game much better, much efficient, and you have a much fulfilled life.
Um, I see you explained what a Platonic computation is. Is part of your work trying to awaken people to be more conscious of their higher self? Is that part of your work right now? Is that what you're dedicated to doing? And is the system you're putting out and your models the tools to awaken from this matrix to live a more fulfilling life and be more conscious of your steps? Or let me put it this way: maybe actually have what we call free will.
Yeah, yeah. All of those, you just said it beautifully. Once you understand how the matrix is built, and you understand your position in the matrix, and you understand your potential, because in this model, from this model, we can understand we are not only this physical body, we are not only the avatars when we play the game, we are something else as well. So it opens up the potential. And by exploring potential, we discover our true self. Our true self is a lot higher. I mean, it's not only one layer of nested doors, it's all the layer of doors. That depends where our consciousness is focused on. We can live the life of different level of existence. Yeah. Eventually, we realize our true self is actually the highest uh, self. The highest self, I call it meta consciousness. And the meta consciousness is the programmer, is the computer operator, is the computer engineer. So the meta consciousness is everything which make the universe, make the multiverse, make all the avatars, make different avatars. And the consciousness basically um, digitalize self. So it becomes zeros, ones, yeah, binary. Once you have a binary, you can use this binary to make the machine, because the machine basically is a switch, is a bunch of switches, zeros, ones. Yeah, you can have the binary. You can make the machine. You can make loads of data. Yeah, you can build a database because data basically is a strings of zeros, ones. It's a tool. So with this model, people can understand uh, how the universe is built and understand who they are, basically.
Is it gonna be a knowledge based sessions, or is there like a lab? How would you connect the people to the awakening? It's gonna be several sessions. Is it a physical thing, or is it gonna be meditation? What features are in this model?
Well, in my work, there's three parts. One part is actually to develop the theory. Yeah. As I said, there's a lot of questions we need to answer uh, before it becomes a theory. Yeah. So there's still a lot of detail needs to be worked out. And it needs to sort of, it's like in IT, yeah, talking is cheap. Show me the code. Yeah. Yeah. You show me the code. Yeah. Yeah. You said it's a Platonic code. Yeah. Show me what's it like. Yeah. So there's a lot of work in that way. That's part of the work. The other one is actually experimental work. I'm still very interested in the paranormal. I do experiment with people. And for give you an example, psychokinesis is a term we use to describe manipulation of the physical reality. Yeah, like teleportation, uh, like changing the physical property of matter, all those kind of things. We call it. In the West, the psychokinesis in general is believed to be magic, to be sort of trickery. people think it's a trick. It's like a stage magic performed by stage magician. Yeah. In 70s, 80s, there's a lot of cases where they debunker the paranormal. Yeah. One person, James Randi, he's a magician. Yeah. He's a professional debunker. He just go around.
With James Randi. He put up $1 million for whoever can.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, he's a debunker. And because he's a magician, he can actually simulate
The tricks, yeah.
lots of other psychokinesis with his stage magic tricks. Yeah. So he made a lot of people to believe this is actually stage magic. It's a trickery, illusion. It's not real. But in China, actually, we done an awful lot of experiment on psychic people. We understand although there's a trickery, there's a real, genuine psychokinesis too. Yeah. So one of the discoveries they made is actually to find the unique signatures of the genuine psychokinesis. Yeah, as opposed to the trickery performed by stage magician. Yeah. For example, if you look at the video recording carefully, you will discover some unique patterns in the video recording, which are sort of present in the real case of psychokinesis. There's specific patterns, distortions, yeah, like a mosaic, like the snow, like the distortion image, which are not present in the stage magic performance videos. So I'm trying to sort of repeat some experiment done by the Chinese researchers with Western psychic people, see whether this can be confirmed. If this can be confirmed, then we can actually tell which is the real, which is the false. At the moment, you can't really tell. It looks like stage magic. So people believe James Randi, it is actually stage magic. Yeah. By doing research, we can discover that actually there's an objective evidence. It's like a unique signature of real psychokinesis. And with this knowledge, we can actually regain the confidence of lots of paranormal phenomena, which are debunked by people like James Randi. So that's a part of experimental work. Another part of work is actually consultancy, individual consultancy with people who are interested to get out of the matrix. So by sort of individual consultants, we can sort of help people understand where they are in the matrix. And we work together with them to sort of come up with a road map how to get out of it. We explain the structure of the matrix. We help them to find out where they are in the matrix and build a roadmap for them so they know where to go and what's the next steps. So that this is the private consultancy part of the work. So there's three parts.
Have you personally had any successful subjects or successful stories?
Yes, yeah. I mean, I have to sort of build the confidence with myself first, and then I help other people. Yeah.
And there are people who have given you feedback on how they have awakened into, breaking from the matrix.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm actually teaching a course in the university on the subject of transpersonal psychology. Yeah, transpersonal psychology concerns with the transpersonal aspect of a human. So the key concept again is the higher self. Yeah. But so far, the higher self is quite vague. It's not very clear description. With my model, we can understand the higher self very well because we understand the structure of the matrix, structure of the universe, the cosmology. Then we understand where is the higher self and how many levels of a higher self and what's the relationship between the higher self and the lower self. All those becomes very clear. So I had a lot of feedback from my student saying how wonderful this is to sort of to provide the clarity about the key concept, like a higher self. Yeah.
And
And
that's a
also
university there in the UK.
university in US and China. So for students who are doing transpersonal psychology, they can benefit a lot. And for private clients, for example, they want to manipulate reality. Yeah. Once they understand it's possible, that gave them confidence, and then you can assist them further, can tell them how with some details, techniques. Yeah. But manipulating reality, I'm not talking about the magic. I'm not talking about, for example, black magic, which harms people. I'm talking about you start with yourself, manipulate the reality about yourself, so you become healthier, happier, yeah, and you become aware of your program. And once you become aware of your program, you can react differently. You become more alert. And then next step is actually to change the program, to alter the program, to actually awaken awaken your higher self. Then you become a program. Then you become reprogram yourself and to have a healthier, happier life. Yeah. For example, weight loss. Many people have have weight loss desire and the overweight. Yeah. And instead, they have a medical conditions
I
like
thought you were about to say
what
something. So it's about instead of going to the gym.
no going to the gym also. Yeah. But you change the program layer. You operate at the program layer to change that. And if you have a hypertension, for example, instead of just taking the pill for your medication, you understand this can be cured by reprogramming yourself. And then you become a weakened human being. You'll be much fulfilled, much happier. Not only get the weight down, get the medical condition off, but you become happier. You become more free. You become more powerful and control the situation. You control yourself. Yeah. Many people are not aware.
Basically, the power, you give yourself back the power to your
Yeah,
life.
exactly.
Control.
Exactly. Yeah. Many medical conditions actually can be cured by yourself. Yeah. Instead of just get some pills from doctor and you don't sort of take any responsibility. You don't learn anything. But if you work yourself, you understand how what is the cause of this condition, and you understand actually you can reprogram this to get rid of it. And then, as you said, you get the power back to yourself.
Okay, we have a bit of time left. Let's talk about the Meta Computer Labs, Meta Computics Lab. Is that your lab you work with? And what is that about? And what's the story behind? And also, where you located? I'm guessing you're located there or from in the UK.
Yeah. I'm based in London, and this lab is what I set up to sort of as I said, develop theory, doing experimental work, and doing consultancy, the three part.
Okay. Okay. So this is like the overall company that covers the all every other thing comes from the Metacomputics lab, basically.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. Great. One question before I move on, because the explanation you had for the higher self was very intriguing and very interesting. And I have to ask this question. So, what is your take on death?
Death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since it's all a program and where this is just a rendering, what does death mean in this whole system, in this whole computer, in the meta computer, the physical computer, and the virtual one? When we die, how does it work? Does the higher self continue, or the physical just die off? How, um, how does death apply to any of this?
As the model described, we are like a nested Russian doll. Yeah. And when we sort of descend from a higher level to the lower level, we put on layers. Yeah. And each layer sits in a different level universe and has a different clock. So at each level, we have a lifespan, which is kind of a programmed lifespan. Like our human in this physical reality, we kind of average 70, 80 years. So that's the programmed lifespan. And once that programs run off, yeah, this layer of physical reality falls off. Yeah. But the inner layer is intact.
Mm.
The inner layer has a different clock, and the lifespan is a lot longer. Yeah, each level has much longer life until you reach to the end, reach to the top, you become eternal. It become yeah. And once you descend from that eternal, you have each layer have a different lifespan. And the lifespan becomes shorter and shorter until we build another layer, which is virtual reality. In the game world, our avatar lives a lot shorter than this physical body. Yeah. So when the physical body dies, your inner self, your higher self, can change another avatar, or it decided not to going to play this game. So one option is change another avatar. It's like when we play video game, we finish with one avatar, we can change another game, play another game. So the same player, we can play different avatar. Our self, higher self, can play another human body once this body finish. Yeah. Then then it becomes somebody else, start a new life and start a new experience, start a new game. Yeah. Sometimes people call it reincarnation. Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay. All right. That answers that question. I would like to move to post materialism technology, manipulating or controlling the mundane reality. Is that still attached to the matrix, coming out, awakening, and being able to be connected to your higher self and be able to be more awakened and take control of your life and destiny?
Yes, that's basically what it means. The example I gave about controlling your weight, for example, weight control and housekeeping, and all this can be seen as manipulating the reality, and this is done by reprogramming yourself. And to understand this is reprogrammable, understand that most cases you behave like an avatar. Yeah, you're programmed to do things. Back to the sort of weight loss. In most cases, we when we eat food, it's not because our body needs the food. There's many other reasons, many other sort of programs which triggers us to eat food. For example, in cinema, when we watch a movie, we don't have to eat anything. But we are programmed to get the popcorn. We don't need popcorn.
Tell me that's why.
We are programmed to get the popcorn. So it's a program. We get tapped into that. And in many
It's
cases,
funny that if you don't do it, people look at you funny. They're like, "What's happening?" They're not agreeing the rules.
that's right. Yeah, it's like a social consensus. So it's a rule, but you need to be aware what's going on, whether this is necessary or is it just um, NPC playing out a program.
Before,
That's right. So if you understand this, you can change a lot of reality about yourself. Uh,
what would you say? Saying all this, and I know you work on. You used to be the vice president of the Chinese Parapsychology Association. What would you say is the difference on how we relate to the paranormal in the West and in the East? In your experience, living in both worlds, how do both worlds relate different to the paranormal domain?
in general, it is. I mean, the Western society is more dominated by science, by materialist science. And therefore, anything other than science is less accepted. They are not open, much less open than in the East. For example, in the East, in China, we have a Chinese medicine system, which is not really science, but it works. It works for many people for thousands of years. And therefore, people have the option. They can go to a sort of Western doctor, they can go to Chinese medicine doctor. So both are accepted. They are not sort of have so much dominance with the Western science and Western medicine. Chinese medicine system are not reductionism, not it's more holistic. It's more metaphysical, whereas the Western medicine is more like physics, chemistry, biology. Yeah, it's a different system, but the
And
time.
from your experience, the distant medicine works as well as the Western.
Yeah, I think they both have strengths and weaknesses. I mean, in most cases, if it's emergency, you need operation, people tend to go to the Western hospital, of course. If it's chronic disease, many people prefer Chinese medicine. It takes longer, but it hasn't got a lot of side effect. And also, you become more involved in dealing with that instead of take everything to the doctor. Yeah. And many people also practice Qigong to heal themselves by energy. So that's another way. Instead of relying on the doctor, you rely on the Qigong, you rely on meditation, you rely on adjusting diet, just adjusting what you eat. So it's complementary. I think.
What is Qigong, if you don't mind?
Sorry,
What is Qigong, if you don't mind?
Qigong is it's like an energy medicine. Yeah, by concentrating on your sort of breathing control, you become more aware of your energy body. Yeah, like I said, we have multiple bodies. One level above this physical body is energy body. Some people can actually see it. It's like auras and it's
What
long
is
physical.
did I say Qigong?
Qigong. Qigong. Yeah, Qigong is the practice of the Qi energy. which is really to healing your physical body by healing the energy body. If the energy body becomes fault free, then the physical body gets healed. Yeah, because it's another level of reality, which is a deeper level of reality. You're not working on the physical level, you work on the energy level. So that's one way people can sort of heal themselves. Therefore, they have more choices, and they have
I
more.
might be wrong, or I might, be conflicting two things. But is that related to like the chakra? I've had a couple of
Yes,
people. Oh,
yeah. The chakras are the energy centers in the energy body. Yeah, chakras. The energy body have a different channels. It's like a blood vessel instead of physical blood. They have energy channels. They have energy channels where the different channel intersect. It becomes chakra. And in Chinese medicine, also, they have the acupuncture points. The acupuncture points is where the different energy channel intersects. Yeah, sometimes the channel got blocked. Then they use acupuncture to unblock it. Once the channel is unblocked and energy going through, and then the symptoms healed. Yeah. So it's more metaphysical because it's not physical, and therefore it's more open. So that there are differences, but for those people who are educated to a very high degree, they become also westernized. They don't they don't believe Chinese medicine anymore. So there's a lot of people in China also, they don't go to Chinese medicine doctor, and they only go to Western medicine doctor, and they don't believe anything non-physical. There's also lots of people in China. So I was talking about in general, but each person has a different attitudes.
I knew there was going to be a bit of a difference in how we relate to it. Okay, so one more question I have before we move on to the random ones. What is consciousness to you, and how do you define consciousness?
In my model, consciousness is defined as the power to conceive, to perceive, and be self-aware. So it's the capability, it's a power. To conceive means to create. To perceive means to be aware, to be able to experience. Uh, And be self-aware means that we have an I, we have a self. I am. Yeah. So we have a subjectivity. So that's my definition of consciousness. And consciousness is actually contentless. It's a pure power. Whereas everything we experience is the content of consciousness. Yeah, like the perception, like this world is actually the content, one of the content of the consciousness. Other contents, including thoughts, what we are thinking of, what we feel, what our emotion is. Yeah. And all those are content of consciousness. And in my model, the consciousness is the source of all the contents. Yeah. And then the contents of consciousness is created through computation, so Platonic computation. So the Platonic computer is actually a content creation machine, whereas the consciousness itself is the source where the computer is made. The computer is made by, of, with, from this consciousness. So you have the consciousness, and you make the machine, and you make the machine, you use the machine to render the contents of your consciousness. So those contents, including the perception of this world, the thoughts, feelings, and emotions.
Consciousness is a very, very hard, difficult question because we are just automatically conscious and it's not pre-planned. We don't know. I don't know. We could be or it couldn't be. We don't know. But as being born in this physical, we with a blank slate.
One of the reasons people perceive as a difficult problem is that they confuse the consciousness with the contents of consciousness. Yeah. Like a qualia. Yeah, the qualia is also contents of consciousness. It's not consciousness. But people, when they talk about consciousness, they talk about qualia. They need to separate this two. I mean, consciousness is contentless, and the contents of consciousness is the perception, thoughts, feelings, emotion, and all the contents are rendered by the Platonic computer, the MMO.
So features like qualia, the mind, thoughts are all contents of consciousness. They all are derivative from consciousness.
That's right. Yeah.
And the body is a vessel for disbursement.
Good.
Yeah. Okay. What is your take on? I think religion is a very complex topic. It's something I've always been interested in growing up. I've had questions, growing up with questions in mind and not being able to get answers to that kind of pushed me away from the traditional religious concept. And you're a good candidate to answer my question because being that you had experience in the East and also a scientist and also studied the paranormal, how do you see religion and spirituality? What are the big differences of these two?
It's a big topic. Yeah. Spirituality is also, to my mind, according to my model, spirituality also is also a content of consciousness. Yeah. Consciousness is contentless. And one type of content of the consciousness is spirituality. Yeah. So this specific contents of consciousness is in contrast to other contents, like perception of a physical reality. So one part of the content of consciousness is the physical reality we perceive. But beyond the physical reality, there's something else, non-physical. Yeah. And we call it spirituality. That's what I understand as spirituality is. It's transcendental. It's beyond the physical. Yeah. And also it's inner rather than surface. It's deeper. Yeah. It also implies connection. You feel you have connection.
Is it related in any way to the higher self, spirituality?
Exactly. The higher self is getting into the spirituality domain because it's not physical anymore. It's beyond the physical. Anything beyond the physical is moving towards the domain of spirituality. Yeah. The further you go up, the higher self, the further you go away from physical, more closer to spirituality. So the conscious itself is ultimate spirituality. Yeah. When the consciousness manifests at different level of reality, it become different level of spirituality, and eventually become a physical. It's not spiritual anymore. So spiritual is transcendental, is connectedness, is it's a higher realm of reality. The difference between spirituality and religion is that spirituality is more open. Yeah. Whereas religion is normally more dogmatic. Yeah. It normally reject other systems. So I think that's the main difference.
That's what puts me off religion too, the dogmatic.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nowadays, you hear a lot of people saying, "I'm spiritual. I'm not religious." A lot of people talking about this. This is saying that I'm sort of interested in a higher level of reality beyond the physical, but I don't actually.
The baggage of the.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. So religion is more restrictive. Oh, this is dogma. This is what you need to believe. Whereas spirituality is more open to explore different systems, different realities, and different teachings. Yeah.
Where do you fall in? Are you in religious or non-religious?
I'm spiritual, but not religious. I'm interested in all religion also. Every religion. It's a diversity. Again, all the religion is the expression of consciousness also. It's a content of consciousness. And the diversity is beautiful. Yeah, that's why you and me look different. We are both beautiful because we are different. And different religion also is similar. They have different teaching, different dogma, a different way of express the same truth, but they are also beautiful.
Okay. Taking you back a little bit, I guess, to when you talked about the meta consciousness, where all things begin, basically.
Hmm.
Okay. In that model, would it mean that we are all one? Since we all come from the same meta consciousness. So, in the highest of level, there's just one consciousness, and we are all part of that one consciousness. Did I get that right?
Exactly. Exactly. So as I said, the consciousness manifests itself through this machine, and this machine creates diversity. At each level of diversity increases. And so that's sort of descending from the source. If you want to ascending, you converge. It becomes simpler, simpler, simpler. Yeah.
So
It's like
we are all from the same basic.
eventually we're all one. At different level, we are different. It's like a different physical pugs. They converge into an archetype pug. Then archetype pug converge with Labrador, with a poodle. They converge into a dog, the dogness. The dog converge with other mammals into a mammal. A mammal that converge with other mammals into a sentient being. A sentient being converge into this pure being. So it converges. Eventually, we are one. We are the same consciousness which manifest, diversify into different forms. And by diversify into different forms, by locating these forms in different space and time, we experience diversity. We experience our own creation in different ways.
Now you've opened up a new door when you say we experience our own creation. So we are creating our own experiences, basically. So the dog, the house we build, everything we create as we go along.
Yeah, yeah. We are continue creation at different levels, but ultimately, in the highest level, we are this matter consciousness, and that's our true self. And at each level, we create different level reality, different beings, and we become that beings, and that beings continue creating next level. And at the moment, we are we are creating this physical reality. We build the houses, we build machines, and we also use the machine using the computer to build another level of reality. We call it the virtual reality. So the creation goes on at all levels of reality. But the source of the this creation is the meta consciousness. That's our ultimate true self.
That's interesting. And I'm gonna take a big guess that the meta consciousness can be referred as the source and also what we all know as God.
Yeah, yeah. So instead of worshiping God, become God. It's not somebody external, foreign. It's actually your true self.
You are God. This has always been a general, not really general. It hasn't been hidden. A lot of people get into arguments about this topic, but to be honest, I do see it that way. I just don't like the language a lot of the time because the language is misunderstood. And when you say things like "we are God," people get very animated, upset. Um, I kind of think that we are part of the greatness, and the greatness is a part of us. And it might have different terminologies and different names, like the matrix, like awakening, or whatever. But I feel it's the realization of who you are,
Yes.
you're you, and how powerful you are, and how those who have come before us. You can say Jesus, whoever, what whichever way your religion takes you. Most of the people that we look up to, or sometimes even worship, just realized what we're talking about. They understood. They awakened, basically.
Yeah, yeah. I think we are all knowing, all powerful, but we choose to experience ignorance. And we come down to this level, we become ignorance, and we experience ignorance. We experience
Why do we keep
powerless.
experiencing when it hurts so much? Ignorance brings us pain, it brings us death, it brings us sorrow. Why do people refuse to believe that they are more powerful than they think they are? Are we afraid to know that we are this powerful? Are we afraid to know that we are quote unquote God?
I think, as I said, many of us come here to experience ignorance. It's like when we are little, we we blindfold ourselves and we hide and seek. We play different games. We bump into things. We hurt ourselves, but we kind of experience that. And although we can see, we actually intended to blindfold ourselves, or we intended to become handicapped to play a sport. Although we are more capable of that, we experience handicapness. We experience ignorance. And that's kind of experience also. It's valuable. If one person is choose to experience ignorance in this lifetime, there's no way you can awaken.
That is difficult to hear. It's kind of sad to hear. But why would anyone choose that if they know they are coming to the physical and they could be awakened and live a better life? Why would they choose to live in ignorance and suffer? Is there a reason for that or a higher purpose?
Because they, because they haven't had this experience. They are curious. What's it like? You know, uh, uh, King Charles' second son, Harry, Prince Harry, uh, when he was teenager, he actually spent a few nights on the street to be homeless in London. Yeah. He lives in the palace, Buckingham Palace. Yeah. He doesn't know what's it like to be homeless. He got everything in the palace. and he's chosen to be homeless on the street because he's curious. He wants to find out what's homeless like.
Well, I guess when you know it's a game, it's easy to make that choice. So I guess, yeah, you can make that argument that people choose.
Yeah, we actually never die. That's the truth. The consciousness is eternal. Hmm. We experience different.
There's a kind of, sorry for cutting you off, there's a kind of freedom that comes with knowing this.
Yeah, yeah,
There's a kind of freedom that comes with knowing that it's all gonna be fine at the end of the day.
yeah. If you don't have fear, your life becomes happier. It's a lot of suffering is actually from fear. So if you are fearless, and your life is much better. Yeah. If you're fearless, you actually make better decisions. Yeah. A lot of bad decisions is made under the fear. So if you don't have a fear, you're more relaxed, life become better, and you make better decisions about life, and you improve life even further. Yeah.
Can I also switch the word here with lack? People who make decisions from the place of lack, of not having.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Mm.
Okay. Um, so yeah, my question. So basically, a lot of the problems we have as humans is just the terms and the words we use and our attachment to these terms and words. Because if the meta consciousness is God, the we all we have a higher self, which is a spiritual. We reside in the physical, which is where we are as humans, and we never die, which is eternal life in a lot of religious um, doctrine. It's just a swap of words, and the more we going, the more the world grows, the more the world gets into technology. These terms change, and we understand it differently. In the olden days, they don't know nothing about quantum physics. They know nothing about metaphysics. They wrote down these books or the holy books or just by your own understanding. And if you compare what the languages you use and what you're saying is basically or literally the same thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And science is catching up from what I see. So it has been a great session. Um, is there any other thing you want to add to this?
Yeah, thank you for having me. Yeah, and uh, yeah, I enjoyed talking to you.
Do you have any books out, or do you have? Can anyone contact you, read about you, or look into your lecture?
My website is metacomputics.com. Yeah, from that website you can get my X account, list my publications, my YouTube channels, and so yeah, that's the best way to follow up.
What is your next steps from here? What do you have for the future? Hopefully, we'll be getting updates.
Yeah, I go to conferences, uh, join interviews, so writing papers to publish, and so doing my consultancy, doing my research, doing my experiment. Um, so yeah, I enjoy my life.
Are you going to be collaborating with any other scientists on
Oh yeah,
the field of the
yeah.
paranormal?
Yeah. I collaborate with researchers all the time. I collaborate with the paranormal people all the time. So if any of your audience have paranormal ability, love to talk to them, to work with them, get in touch with me. The experiment I'm doing, I mentioned before, it's basically trying to repeat some experiment done in China, but they've done with the Chinese people. I want to sort of repeat it with the Western people. So if anybody is interested in supporting my research, please get in touch. I'm looking forward to working with the psychic people. I learn a lot from them. Yeah. I myself is not psychic. I'm spiritual, but I'm not psychic. But from interacting with psychic people, I learn awful lot because they can perceive things I cannot. Yeah. As a scientist, sometimes we need instrument to explore the nature, to explore the reality. Yeah. In science, we have a telescope. We use it to look outer space, and we have microscope to look into the micro world. Non-physical reality, we also need instruments. Yeah. And those instruments are carried by psychic people. Yeah. In China, we call it third eye. They have another eye, which can perceive physical.
The third
Yeah, third eye. Yeah, third eye. A mind eye. And they actually carry this instrument with them. So they are valuable assets for research.
That's amazing.
So I respect them all.
Thank you so much for the work you do. Thank you for giving us almost 2 hours of your time. It's been a pleasure. And when I say pleasure, I mean pleasure talking to you. So this is not going to be the last time we talk. Hopefully, I can get you back on the show maybe in months to come and get an update on everything. Thank you so much, Dr. Duan.
Thank you. Thank you, Stanley, for having me. Have a nice day.
You too. Great.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode. Meta consciousness, higher self, Platonic computation, and more with Dr. Simon Duan. We hope you enjoyed listening to it as much as we enjoyed publishing it. Your support means the world to us, and we truly appreciate you taking the time to listen. Be sure to follow us and stay connected so you don't miss our upcoming releases. Until next time, stay healthy, and thank you for being a part of our podcast journey.